Hello, so I'm going to review my Privia in a little bit more detail. I wanted to say that overall, compared to the other electric keyboards that are on display in Sam Ash, this keyboard beat them all soundly. And in fact, it wasn't even the Privia 770, but rather an older model, which I think was in the 300 lines that we thought had an outstanding sound and feel, even compared to the $1,000, $2,000 pianos that they had on display. Unfortunately, that 300 model or so was not in stock, so the receptionist recommended that we try out the 770. We looked at a couple of YouTube videos and we got this one instead. So, the first feature that I'm going to talk about is the touch. Something that made the Casio line stand out immediately was that the touch of the keys was not plasticky. So you know how when you have a MIDI keyboard, it feels like your fingers are about to slide off of the keys because there's absolutely no texture on it. On the Privia keyboard, if you look really closely, there is some wood grain texture, very fine detail, but it is there on both the white and the black keys to make it feel a little stickier for your fingers, which emulates more closely the feel of a real piano. And it's just a lot more pleasurable to play on as a result. So the next feature I'm going to cover is the key action. So I don't know about the internals of the Privia, whether they actually have based their tones on a weighted key system or if there is some kind of weighted key system going on. What I will say is that the keys respond to acceleration and pressure similar to weighted keys. And what I mean by that is that there is some kind of a resistance when I press down, and that resistance increases when I'm 3/4 of the way down. So, in other words, it's pretty easy to play softly and feel as though the hammer is just about to touch the metal, if you know what the back end of a piano looks like. And it's also relatively easy to press down quite hard and feel like I'm really hammering that metal much harder than before. So that's hard to describe, but I would just say that the action is really satisfying. The next feature I'm going to talk about is the volume. So unfortunately, the max volume on this keyboard cannot go very high. Even if you are playing with the loudest volume on the concert grand setting, a neighbor from a room over, not like across the wall, but like a room over, would have trouble hearing you, which is not the case for a real piano, of course. You can actually use a different function, such as the rock setting, to make the max volume go a little higher. Two other options would be to plug in your headphones or to record the sound onto a USB. But I would caution you that your normal headphones and your normal USB will not work. You need a special headphone jack. I believe it's called the female one. It's just a gold thing that you put onto the plug, and you also need a special USB. The port looks quite different than your standard rectangle. So finally, I'm going to talk a little bit about the sound quality. Um, the sound is fantastic. When you play a full piece on it, the dynamics that you can get on this Privia were much beyond the Rolands and the Yamahas that we tried out in the Sam Ash store. Um, it's really fluent, it's really expressive, and overall, I would highly recommend any of the pianos on this line from what I've tried out.